Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Robin Hood. Now this is directed by Otto Bathurst and stars Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, Ben Mendelsohn, Eve Hewson, Jamie Dornan, F. Murray Abraham. And it's really another retelling of the Robin Hood story. But they try to do something a little different with this one. And they sort of try and modernise things. And when I say modernise things, I don't necessarily mean they set it today. I just mean they modernise the way that they sort of do particular things. Like, especially when he goes to war, they do it as if it's war today, except with bow and arrows. And I thought that was kind of interesting way to go about it. And it really looks at Robin Hood before the Crusades and before he loses everything, so he's still rich and has money. It's where he meets Marion, who's sort of poorer sort of character, and the romance begins between the two of them. And he's ultimately shifted off to war. As he returns, he loses, he's lost everything. They think he's dead. Marion's moved on and in a relationship now with Will Scarlet, played by Jamie Dornan. And he ultimately sees that the way people are being treated, and Robin Hood and join together, Little John, and ultimately form a union. And Little John teaches him how to become a sort of a big thief. And then it's really about them trying to stop Sheriff Nottingham and a variety of others from destroying the town and the people within it. This film was okay. It wasn't great. There wasn't a lot to it I really loved. And I didn't think we really needed another Robin Hood movie. We've had a variety of them. We've had TV series, we've had stuff from the 30s, we've had, Kevin Costner version, Prince of Thieves. We've even had a Mel Brooks takeoff of that Robin Hood, Men in Tights. And recently Ridley Scott's Robin Hood. And I just think we've had enough of this sort of character, and we don't need to keep going back to it, going back to the well. But before I get into all of that, I just want to talk about some things I liked about it, and then sort of get into the stuff that I didn't really care much for. I like that they've sort of modernised particular things, especially when he goes to war and using bow and arrows rather than guns, and it really feels like a modern warfare sort of element to the film. And I kind of liked that. I liked Eve Hewson, who's Bono's daughter, who does a really great job as Marion, I thought. But I would have liked to have seen a lot more of her character. I thought she was very interesting, but she wasn't used in the way that she could have or should have been. A lot of the fight sequences and action sequences I think were handled pretty well and looked kind of interesting and fun. I thought the best thing really about it was Eve Hewson and F. Murray Abraham. I think those characters were kind of interesting. Everyone else was okay, did it okay. Look, it's filled with really great actors, but I don't know if they were utilised in the best form that they could have been within this film. And that sort of ends the elements that I liked. So like I said, there's not a lot that I really liked. Now the things that I struggled with and didn't think worked really well is there's no depth to anybody, none of the characters. You're meant to feel for these characters, but you don't. The relationship between Robin and Marion, you don't really buy. Their young love romance sort of thing. And the choices made by characters in the film don't make a lot of sense. There are good action scene, like I said, but it just seems like there's just a variety of scenes cut together with no real purpose and no real connection or telling a story. Now, Otto Bathurst, I never really heard of him before, but I was told that he'd come from TV and done a variety of things, and that's sort of what this feels like. I felt this film was very disappointing. Taron Egerton, I think, is a solid actor. I just don't think he has the movie star quality that people are looking for, and I think he was miscast in this film, or maybe more, he wasn't utilised the way he could have been. I don't really go on him much as an actor, but I've seen him in other things where he's done a much better job and provided a much better performance and better characters. And I really liked Eddie the Eagle's probably one of my favourites. And you've got Ben Mendelsohn playing another villain yet again, like that seems to be all he plays in his later career, and he seems to become typecast. And some of the villains he's played have been quite good. This one, not so much. I just didn't really care much for his character, really buy why he was doing the things he was doing. Jamie Foxx, last couple of films I've seen him I haven't really loved, like this and Baby Driver. I just don't quite like the characters he's playing and the way he's portraying them. There's no connection there. You don't see any of the poor people and the plight that they're going through. You don't feel for them. The movie really asks you to feel for these particular characters and go on the journey with Robin Hood and allow him to free these poor people and downtrodden people, but it just doesn't feel like that. It feels one-sided. It feels it's just about him, where no one else sort of matters, and I don't quite get why they did it like that. I don't think it's a great film at all. Like, it's not terrible, but it's below average, I think, for an action film. And I just was very disappointed with it. I must admit I did have low expectations going in, but this film sort of lowered them again, and I just found myself really disliking this film in so many ways. It's a wasted opportunity to do something kind of different, and I think with a much more seasoned director or writer or something like that, it might have been a much better film. And there was just a lot of stuff that happened in it. It was just kind of weak sort of storytelling, and because we didn't care about the characters or there's no depth to them, then it's just sort of watching action scenes, and I just found that kind of boring after a while. Final verdict. Look, if you want a film that doesn't have a lot of depth and is just pure popcorn entertainment, you may enjoy this. If you want a film with a bit more oomph and a bit more depth and character development and interesting story, then this film really isn't for you. It just misses the mark by a mile. And I recommend going and seeing other films rather than this one. Look, I'm going to give this film 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was, but like I said, it's a below average film. It was kind of entertaining, but I was very disappointed with what transpired throughout the film, and I didn't quite enjoy it at all. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video or you enjoy any of the other videos on my channel, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.